Welcome to CPG Vibes. No scripts,
just chat.
I'm Alex Baer.
And I'm Wade Yenny.
Each episode is recorded live, and we talk all things food and beverage, and so much more.
Feel our vibe and search for CPG Vibes on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and make sure to give us a 5-star review.
If you'd like to sponsor our show with your product or service, email us at cpgvibes100@gmail.com.
Now, let's vibe.
All right, welcome to episode 114 of CPG Vibes. We're here on a beautiful Friday afternoon. I have the California short sleeve polo shirt over here, and then Wade has the flannel covered up in North Carolina over there. So you can tell where we are in the country based on how we're dressing. Wade, how's it going, buddy?
Good. Yeah, well, the temperature's been kind of all over the place this week. I think we've been in the low mid 80s today. The high is 68, so it's kind of all over the place. So you gotta dress the part, you know.
Yeah. We always open up with the weather comments here because it's a way of just rolling into the episode in a comfortable way. So we have a lot to talk about today. We have big news that obviously hit the news wire. We're gonna get into that. But before we do, just one big announcement, the back wall. So thank you so much to our 5 sponsors, including one that's going to be a guest here on our episode here. And they're the weekly sponsor as well, 7Ts, Jeremy and Josh Isakarian. So our 5 6-month sponsors, and then Dano's is 1 year. We have Dano's, we have 7Ts, we have Wild Tonic, we have Mela, the watermelon water, and we have Ginger Labs, fresh off their recent capital raise. So thank you to the 5 brands that have contributed and sponsored with this beautiful back wall. I'm proud of it, Wade. I'm proud of it.
I was going to say, you should be. It looks sharp. I think it's some great brands represented there, and some good friends on some of the teams there. We certainly appreciate the support, but yeah, I think it looks really sharp.
Definitely.
I'm a little biased, though,
Little biased, but it's okay. We're biased because they're sponsors, but we also love. One big thing is we have to love the product, right? So I drink Wild Tonic all the time. I drink 7Ts all the time. Have it right here next to me. Obviously, Ginger Labs take their shots every week. And we also have Range Me there in the corner. They preserve their little spot there, their stronghold. No one's going to take that away from them. So they've paid for that one, and we love them too. So we are the #1 rated CPG podcast in North America. Still got that spot. And for us to keep that spot, make sure to give us 5 stars. So go on to Apple Podcast. You look for our beautiful faces for radio and give us 5 stars for that. And by the way, speaking of faces for radio, your voice is very NPR. It's very bassy and calm today. I love your voice today. It's good.
Is that? Oh, that's a good thing, I guess, right?
It's good. We got to have that calming voice, but not too calming to put people to sleep, right? So
right.
There's a balancing act.
I threw a couple links up there in the chat. One being the Apple Podcast link, one being the pet project I've been working on. We're now on YouTube. We have maybe 15 episodes. I'm working backwards, so the latest episode is up there. If you didn't see last week's show with the After the Tank with the Shark Tank alumni on, that is on YouTube, so you can watch that there if you'd like. The plan will be that I'll get that uploaded hopefully first thing after the show's over on Saturday morning. Get the latest episode from Friday up on YouTube, and keep rolling along.
There you go. And what's cool is a lot of people ask, how can I rewatch the episode? There's 2 ways. You can do YouTube, just like what Wade was saying. You could also go back to the same link that is on LinkedIn, right, that you're watching the show on right now. You can bookmark it, and you can go back to that same link. That URL will never change, and you just hit replay, and you can watch it anytime you want. And you can also see the comments stream in as well through LinkedIn. You can't do that on YouTube. So a couple other things. We have a Slack channel. It's starting to really gain popularity. We have announcements on there, Newswire stuff, networking. We're also going to have a contest where you can win a free sponsorship worth $500 by going onto our Slack channel. And we're going to talk to you more about that. But essentially, you give us 5 stars, you post it into the Slack channel, And when you do that and you show proof of that, you enter into a sweepstakes to win a free $500 worth sponsorship. We have 2 ongoing sponsors, right? We have the ones one we already mentioned, which is Range Me. They have a QR code there. If you're watching live in the corner, you can scan that with your phone and go straight to a landing page, and you can get more information about their programs and a little bit about Range Me. They help brands drive awareness and engagement with retailers through an easy-to-use platform that has more than 15,000 buyers. Listeners can get discounts on the Range Me Premium and Pro subscriptions, which include benefits such as direct product submissions to retailers. That kicks ass right there. You can get straight to the retailers through their online submission, access to Nielsen IQ category data, and in-person meetings through eCRM, and you can meet buyers. So make sure to scan that QR code or go to rangeme.com/ and I'll take the blog out of it, just rangeme.com/CPG vibes. You can go straight to that landing page and get discounts by mentioning CPG vibes. Our other ongoing sponsor is V Driven. So V Driven, this is always the hardest part because I ran out of breath, is a leading consulting and brand management firm specializing in strategic guidance and brand representation for emerging and mid-sized CPG brands, offering services from direct sales to key natural retailers. They do accounting management. They do trade spend deduction management, which everyone at some point gets screwed by, and you have to watch those and make sure you're not losing too much money. And they have a 25% off on their first month coupon code, CPG Vibes 25. All right, so Wade, I'm going to pass it over to you so I can take that breath on our weekly sponsor, which is Powerful Energy, PFE, with Robert Kogan, and also the Issacharin Brothers with 7 T's. So why don't you go into details about them, and then we'll get to our show.
Yeah. So you nailed it. 7 T's, where tradition, quality, and flavor unite in every sip. Indulge in their premium, ethically sourced international teas, served in elegant glass packaging to preserve their authenticity. From the tranquil tea gardens of Asia to the lively fields of Africa, explore a world of taste, and for a taste of home, enjoy beloved American classics like Georgia Peach, Southern Strawberry Lemonade, and more. Served conveniently in cans for a refreshing twist on tradition. So I've got my link here for their website that I'll throw up there at 7teas.com. And yeah, I certainly appreciate them being a sponsor this week, along with PFE Distribution, which I put their link up as well.
Yep. And PFE is all about picking great products. Robert Kogan is one of the hardest working people I've ever met in my life. Super persistent, super passionate. And he distributes products in Canada and really focuses on Toronto. I just cracked this open. Their wildflower honey matcha tea. Fuck yeah. This is good. This is really, I'm using the F word because it's really, really good. I've actually never tried this flavor. I had another one yesterday, and I found out, I talked to Jeremy, one of the brothers, that they are literally getting the water from it's like mountain spring water, so it's really high quality. Okay. So with all that said, thank you for bearing with us. We're going to get into some comments, but I think the biggest thing we're going to talk about today is going to be the closing of Foxtrot, this abrupt and surprise closing, along with Dom's Kitchen. And so Foxtrot, 33 locations. They raised, don't quote me on the exact history here, but they raised over $100 million 2 years ago. They raised another $18 million 1 year ago, a little over a year ago. And here we are, where they announced literally on the day of, on April 23rd, 2024, that all 33 locations closed. Dom's Kitchen, which I believe are 3 locations, also closed. And they are primarily in the Chicago, the Illinois area, but primarily the Chicago area. So big news item, a lot of chatter, Wade, back and forth on LinkedIn about how it went down, how abrupt it is. We've spoken to people that were partners with them. It's really bad. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to pass it to you and you can shout us out, with comments, but really horrible. I think it's horrible how they handled it, but we don't know the whole story yet on why that happened. So before making assumptions, there's probably a reason behind it on why they closed so abruptly, let go of so many people. They have so many vendors to pay and distributors to pay, and they left them out high and dry. But again, I don't want to come across on this episode like I'm smearing them or making them look like the bad guy. but I think we definitely need an explanation as to why they did it and what exactly happened. So those are my thoughts on it. But Wade,
Yeah,
what do you think?
definitely a difficult situation. Coincidentally, I was in Chicago, as you know, this week with the CA Fortune team. Shout out to them for having me and the rest of the retailers and their clients out there this week for their event. Is they always put on an awesome show, and this week was no different. But yeah, it's so coincidentally, I was in Chicago Wednesday and Thursday when that news was kind of breaking, and anytime a business goes out goes out of business, it's not pretty. And I think I read that there's some kind of class action lawsuit coming because they didn't follow. I think there's a 60-day policy as far as notice for employees and of a certain size companies, and it sounds like that perhaps they violated that with the way they did it. But very, very surprised that the way it was communicated, and then really the liquidation aspect. I would have thought, especially when you start talking about the food and perishability of some of those products, that it's kind of shocking to me that they just closed immediately without trying to liquidate some of that inventory as far as that goes. But I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of speechless on the entire thing. And again, if you have any comments, please post in there, and we'll shout you out, or any just your thoughts on the situation. But we've spoken to people that literally just launched, in Foxtrot like a week ago, or 2 weeks ago. Like they just launched there, and the employees found out like the day of or like the night before. So my read on it, there were a lot of comments on the post that I made. I think over 50 comments, and one of the comments really stuck out to me, Wade, which is, I think what happened is they knew they were in trouble. They didn't really disclose a lot of this to the public because they didn't want to have people panic. They didn't want distributors to panic. They didn't want brands to panic, and they were rushing around to try to shore up, some of the losses or some of the deficit or whatever the debt they were in. So they were trying to raise money, and I heard through the grapevine that they were working on a deal to get money, and they were trying to finalize it, and then it fell through at the last minute, the 25th hour, and then that's when they decided to close the business. So I think like their hearts were in the right place as far as trying to save the business, but the lack of communication to everyone they were working with, business partners, I think that was lacking, which caused issues, and that's why there's a class action lawsuit here. So
Right. Yeah, it's tough, especially the emerging brands that was a big part of distribution for them, especially in that market. So there's all these implications and things that as far as what impact that will have on some of these emerging brands. That Foxtrot Dom's was a significant part of their sales volume. So
yeah, and there's some comments here. Joe Turnowski with ECRM, right? Our sponsors here under Range Me. Sad to see Foxtrot go. We included one location on a store tour during an ECRM session last year. It was a cool concept. Curious to hear the backstory on that. And then we have another one from Miles Zuckerman. Congratulations on joining Malk. He's now, I believe, you have to correct me on this because I'm always wrong with positions and titles. I believe you're the West Coast territory sales manager, if I got that right, or maybe national. We'll see. He'll tell us. And Miles Zuckerman says there's too much we don't know. It'll be interesting once the details surface and a proper postmortem can be done. I think like the biggest shockwave is just like you said, to these emerging brands that worked with Foxtrot to launch their brand, right? Especially in the Midwest. Like you're not ready for Heinen's yet. You're not ready for Meyer yet. You're not ready for Fresh Time yet, or Fresh Market, or any other stores, especially in the Midwest area. But hey, let's do a kind of a test at Foxtrot in these 33 stores that are high end, a lot of millennials, a lot of great items there, progressive. And I think that's the biggest loss, is like now you can't test your product there anymore. And I've never stepped foot into a Foxtrot either. And I was in Chicago 2 weeks ago, ironically. Have you ever been in one?
Yeah, I was in one on one of my trips to Chicago I think that last year, as a matter of fact, I obviously didn't make it this time since they closed the day before I got there. But yeah, last year was. I like the concept. It's an interesting concept, and I know there's a lot of people that kind of looked at them for some innovation and things like that. So it's a tough week, but and I should Alex, before we get too far gone here, we should also remind everyone that we're with our sponsor this week, 7Ts. We are going to have a giveaway at the end of the show.
Yes.
Where we'll ask something that we talked about during the show. So you want to stick around for that and make sure you're paying attention, or at least trying to find out what that question is, so you can win some delicious 7Ts at the end of the show.
Yeah, and the prize is, I mean, massive. I mean, and he's super generous to be giving this away. Is going to be a 12 pack of the glass, the one that I'm drinking here. This guy, delicious, organic. I think it just has all these different non-GMO, 1% for the planet, everything. So that's $48 worth. And then they're also giving out a variety pack of their cans, their teas, and that's the $36. So it's basically an $80 value at the end of the day. So yeah, make sure to stick around for that. But yeah, I think that's, without knowing the postmortem or doing the postmortem or knowing the details, we don't know any details yet. There's been no announcement or PR from them. I think us trying to figure it out for 20, 30 minutes would prove to be kind of a moot point until we know the facts of what's going on over there. But still, just it sucks. A lot of great brands were in there, and the concept seemed to be pretty damn cool. And I've heard, like, you walked in there, pretty good flow. Selection was great. Pricing was also reasonable. So I guess we'll see how that shakes out.
So, and I could be way off base on this, but for me, if I was a brand that Foxtrot was doing well with my product, I would look at that very closely, where that market is, and try quickly to cover any voids in distribution. Maybe ask for an off cycle or something, because of, if you had the product in Foxtrot, customers are used to buying it in that area. You mentioned a couple other retailers, so I don't need to go back into that, but maybe now's the time to reach out to some of those people in the Midwest and say, hey, I know maybe they passed on the category review previously, or maybe they weren't presented, but right now, with that loss of distribution, potentially customers are going to be looking for those products. It might be an opportunity for retailers to pick up some of those items. It wouldn't hurt. I'd be making the pitch, or reaching out for sure to try and offset some of those losses with the stores closing.
Yeah, exactly right. And I know that Pod Foods was the one distributing for a lot of these brands, right? As almost an accelerator. Like, Pod Foods picks up. I mean, we know the people there; they're awesome. Peter and others. And they just pick up brands very early, and then they put them into the innovation set over at Sprouts. They put them into this, really, that at the time, when they're open, Foxtrot, really these emerging brand sets. So shout out to Pod Foods for just taking the chances on the smaller brands and giving them a voice on shelf. The other big news that came out this week is also about the merger that hasn't happened yet with Kroger and Albertsons. So anyway, this is really only stuff that we would find interesting and CPG people find interesting. But people that are, in the car industry, probably not. But essentially, this is really strange, Wade. I mean, I don't know a lot about M&As, mergers and acquisitions, but they were not able to do the merger, right? That was the SEC or FTC did not allow it. And so, as part of them being allowed to do it, they have to divest stores. So like Albertsons, from what I read, in I think Kroger as well, maybe in partnership, they are divesting up to this point 579 stores that are no longer going to be Kroger or Albertsons, and it's going to go to CNS.
Right.
So CNS are going to get the stores. I don't know if it's branded as CNS, the stores. I have no idea. Is that what they're going for, or what are they doing?
I don't think so. I think they have some banners, if I'm not mistaken. I couldn't tell you what they were, but I'm pretty sure they do. I'll see if I can find anything out. But yeah, it's still, and there's no timeline for that at this point. I don't think either, as far as when this thing actually might go through, if it goes through. I know it's still being drug out as far as that goes.
Exactly. So, but it's just crazy. They have to divest stores and have less stores in order for the merger to go through. And I think that's definitely, a sign of the times where you got the two largest grocers in the country, totaling well over 4,500 stores, nearly 5,000 stores, and they have to merge. So that means, again, I'm not an economist, Wade, but there's a lot happening in the economy. People have less money, sales are down, and likely they're merging to shore some of that up. So we'll see what happens. So, and then also letting you know that in about 5 minutes, we're bringing on Jeremy from 7Ts. He'll talk about the mission, the products, the brand. So what else, Wade? What else shall we talk about?
No,
today?
I was going to say, I just reiterate what I said about the CA Fortune event, and I'm going to try and find the link to their post here so you can kind of see a little bit of the vibe there. No pun intended, but some good brands. The winners, and it's in this post here for the most innovative brand. There was Milliways, or Milliways, which is a gum that's marketed off being plastic free. Best packaging was Collective Arts, which is a beverage company that does energy drinks. They do non-alc beer. They do botanicals, a whole bunch of stuff. The best pitch went to Whole Moon, which is a plant-based milk, refrigerated milk. And then the best overall build tank brand went to Unbound Snacks, which is a snacking walnut. I don't know if Alex, if you've seen that or not, you'd appreciate it. They have Einstein on their packaging. So
what is it called again?
Unbound Snacks.
Unbound Snacks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they have Einstein on their packaging. So I figured you'd appreciate that. But good
I
stuff.
do.
Good time. Good time. I put the link up in there for people to check out if you'd like to see some of the things. It was great.
Yeah, it shows Einstein with an explosion coming out of it, like his mind has been blown by these snacks. Wow. And you're allowed to use Einstein, right? Because he's I think he's been dead for over 50 years or 60 years or something.
I'm not sure the limitations on using actual people. It's a good question, right?
Name, image, likeness. I think once they've been dead for a certain number of years, you can use them. But very, very interesting. Cool. All right. Well, we're going to be bringing on Jeremy. Before we do, just again, a reiteration of our sponsors for this week. And again, there's also some comments, maybe quickly read these comments, Wade, before we bring Jeremy on. Kenny, who is the all-knowing, omniscient person in the CPG industry, is exactly right. I figured it wasn't CNS, but I didn't know who it would be. So CNS is a wholesaler. They have banners like Grand Union and Piggly Wiggly. And then Sean Berg said they're going to use the Mariano's banner for sure. Mariano's is actually in Chicago. I did see one when I was out there. And then Kenny said Albertson Safeway did a deal with Hagen several years ago. That was kind of I remember that deal, kind of similar, where it was pretty devastating. So the FTC could be seeing history repeat itself. And that's when Hagen's took over a bunch of Albertsons, over 150. And within 3 or 4 months, it was all gone and was bankrupt. And then Smart and Final took it, and Amazon warehouses took it, and they just scooped it up for pennies on the dollar. So, which is business, unfortunately. So let's, again, just to reiterate, our sponsors for this week are 7Ts and also Powerful Energy with Robert Kogan, and really all about getting your product into Canada and Toronto. He is your man for that. And you can, I guess, Wade, just LinkedIn him, message him. That's probably the best way.
He's in the chat too here. So if you see him, but there's the website's right there, pfedistribution.com.
There you go. All right, so we are going to go ahead and bring Jeremy on here, and let's just get some some music that will not have any copyright infringement. We've learned the hard way from that. Let me do this one. I think this has the kind of vibe. Has kind of that spiritual vibe, right? Like you're in Tibet. All right, Jeremy, how's it going, buddy?
Hey guys, how you doing? Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
I figured you really appreciate this music.
I love that. Very soothing.
Yeah. All right. So We got you on here for like 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes. We'll figure it out. But tell us, I guess, like, you have a brother that looks almost exactly like you.
Yeah.
Are you guys like twin brothers, like same age, born at the same time?
Yeah, we get mistaken for twins all the time. But no, my brother's actually 2 years older than me,
Okay.
but we're right in that wheelhouse, very
Right.
close. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I can't tell the difference, and you guys look the same age. So I guess that's a compliment to the younger brother, or to the older brother. Yeah.
Right. I've got the beard though, so it's interesting. Sometimes I get mistaken as older. Maybe it's because I have kids, and that'll tend to
That's
put
more
You gray
a
up real
couple
quick.
years on you.
Yeah.
So one of the things I wanted to ask you, Jeremy, is, as Alex mentioned, we were talking about the prize we're going to give away is you have the glass product and then you have a can product, and certainly there's other people out there that are doing something like that as well, where they have the different packaging, glass versus cans. Can you talk a little bit about the strategy with regards to why you have glass, why you have cans, and then the marketing philosophy behind how you're promoting the two different packages?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So initially, we launched with our glass. That was really our core product. In 2018 we launched in one region of Whole Foods, and saw good traction there. Grew into 3 regions, added a bunch of DSD, and we saw that it was a really great product for natural. People in the natural space, they love the glass. It's it just seems like glass and natural go together super well. And then come COVID time, we went back to the drawing board, and we thought, well, how can we take this brand and really kind of take it out more to the mainstream, to your everyday consumer, your conventional consumer, your mass consumer, your bodega consumer. And so that's when we began working on our cans. And the real strategy there is like that. It's, the glass is really meant for natural and specialty, and the cans are meant for markets like Publix, who we went chain wide with this last year, and other retailers like that. The cans are lighter. You can fit more on a pallet. They're more efficient from a freight perspective, from a COGS perspective. And, we found that, the younger crowds typically love the cans. It's like the 25 and under, whereas the glass is the 25 and older. So, yeah, that's our strategy there.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And I think, because I'm a longtime fan of 70s. I remember first seeing it at Whole Foods. They call it PCH Whole Foods, but it's the one in El Segundo, right?
Love that.
They should call it El Segundo, because there's another one in PCH in Torrance, which confuses the two. And I saw it on the shelf for the first time. And then coincidentally, I think you were demoing there, like either you or your brother. Again, at that time, I couldn't tell the difference because you both had beards. It was you. Yep. And briefly spoke to you. You told me about the mission. You told me about the product, and you had it all lined up. And what really stood out to me, and you can, for anyone who's tried it, is the packaging and how this was developed, which, again, I know the cans are more for the mainstream appeal, a little lower price point, more mainstream accessible taste and flavor.
Correct.
But this, to me, is unfucking believable. Like the packaging and how it was designed. Where did you come up with the idea? Did you hire out to a firm to do it? Did you do it yourself with a freelance? Like, tell us about the design of the packaging.
I hand drew all of the labels.
Really?
No,
Okay.
I'm kidding.
No,
No.
you almost had me on that one. Okay.
No, so briefly, I come from a herbalist background. I've been studying herbalism and yoga, and also come from a mixed background. Well, my dad is from overseas. He's from Iran, and he's Jewish, and my mom is she has British roots and grew up in Texas. So I was exposed to different cultures from a young age. And, you know, we just, also my brother and I did a bunch of traveling. We backpacked through Europe. We've been to, a lot of different places around the world. And we noticed that in every culture and every history, there are native herbs that are part of the everyday ritual. And we went to the tea shelves and we noticed that most brands on the shelves were in a race to the bottom in terms of price and really, quality. And we saw just a white space there where we could really tell what we consider to be the greatest story ever told, which is the story of tea. The tea horse road that connected Europe and Asia down to India. And, we just wanted to really show that story through the label, through the product, the people, the planet, and the point of origin. And so that's where the idea was really born. Initially, it was Tulsi tea that I was really consuming. It's a Indian adaptogen. A lot of people don't know that Tulsi tea is an adaptogen, a stress reduction herb. And I just felt like, wow, there's so much deep history around this herb. And then it became evident, wow, that every tea, you're drinking matcha. I have the rooibos here from South Africa, to oolong from China, yerba mate from Brazil and Argentina, and so on, Earl Grey from England. So there's all this story innately already built into these teas. We just felt like we had to tell it.
So what's next for the brand, right? You have the glass, which is primarily, and I'm fresh off this story because we spoke for an hour yesterday when I was driving. It's a great conversation. Yeah. And I always enjoy talking with you, brother.
Yeah,
and
likewise.
So like you have the glass, which is more on the natural side. So are the cans, are you looking full mainstream, like the Targets, the 7-Elevens? Like what's your goal for the next couple of years with the canned line?
Ultimately, yes, to grow into even the Walmarts. I mean, we've been approached by Walmart. We had several meetings and made it through some rounds with them. But ultimately, we decided at that point that we wanted to saturate more natural and more low-hanging fruit within conventional before we took that leap into Walmart. We're looking to take this thing all the way. We really feel like with the exits of Honest was discoed by Coke, Tazo left the space, Tazo Glass, amongst 7 or 8 other brands that have exited the space, and we there's just so much there that we can go after.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, Wade, any other questions? I was going to go into the information about the product and how to get it.
I've got one question, and,
Sure.
and if you could touch on it real quick,
Sure.
Jeremy, is what do you see with that? What you're looking to do with the brand? What do you see as being your biggest challenge from to on your way to doing what you want to do with the brand?
What is not a challenge?
There you go. That's the great one. What's not a challenge? It's all challenging. I really would say, everyone, I think most people would say the funding side is very challenging. And I do agree, we've been dipping our toe in that, and, we're looking to raise right now, not only angel crowdfunding and a traditional equity raise, but sequencing of accounts, working with the right accounts, finding the right partners that are really going to be the best for the business. And not just, you really got to do your homework out there and really look at the gamut of accounts and, not spread yourself too thin, try to go deep, prove it out in key regions, and really get those velocities, tell a good story in those regions. Once you have that, then replicate that across the board. So, strategy is key. You got to have right people around you, good team, good advisors, and people that you can call upon that can help you with that and strategize. You can't take everything that's sent your way, in a sense.
Excellent.
You have to filter in what makes sense and then filter out the rest because we have such limited time as entrepreneurs. And just a key thing I wanted to like take from what you just said is that you are going to be entering into a funding round, right? And you're looking at the terms, you're going to do an offering. So for those that are angel investors out there that are writing checks of, would say at least maybe 10,000 and up or more.
That's right.
Um,
10K minimum check size.
yeah.
But,
So
reach out to me, jeremy@70s.com. We can talk, but we're really looking for that 10K and above.
definitely. And then if there is a crowdfunding, which I know you mentioned as well, you're looking into that right now. We can also announce it on here, and hopefully it's through one of the bigger platforms, right? Because that's where you get a lot of traction. And it's again, not coming across like too salesy here, but the amount of revenue that they have and how much they've grown from a small team, right? A very small and mighty team is very impressive. And I think the reason they've grown so much and they're doing millions in sales is because the product works so hard on shelf. Like you can only do so much marketing and pay for that. But at the end of the day, the product has to kick ass. The label, the packaging has to kick ass, and it has to tell a story, which yours does on the label, and you get people to buy it organically. So it's a rare story where you're not one of these huge brands that burn through all this capital like the ones you mentioned, and then they had to go out of business. You're doing it slow and steady. You're growing. You're doing millions in sales, and people are organically picking up your products. That's a really great story to have.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jeremy, good to see you, brother, and we'll be talking very soon, I'm sure.
Likewise, friends. Talk
Great.
soon.
Good to see you, Jeremy.
All right. Take care.
All right. And if you want to go and buy their product, we forgot to ask him about this, but it's easy. 7tees.com, all letters, and there it is right there. And again, I really recommend this one. This has given me such great energy. I've been up since 5:30 a.m. this morning, and wildflower honey. When people say that, it feels like a sense of entitlement. Like, I was up early. Were you?
Mm-hmm.
I just had to get up early and do some yoga to prepare for the yoga master that was just on our show. So we're going to be giving away, again, make sure to stay locked in on our episode here because he's going to be giving away 7 teas. It's going to be $85 worth of product, 12-pack of the glass and a 12-pack of the cans. So, Wade, we have this kind of a rare moment. We have 5-10 minutes left. What do you want to delve into? No script, just chat.
Well, I'm excited to show you the stuff we love because I've got some things hot off the not to keep beating it into the ground, but hot off the CA Fortune event. I think if you know me well enough, when I go to food shows, I very rarely bring anything back with me. I have the brand ship it to me if I want samples. I pack a carry-on. I don't want to bring anything back, but I like this brand and this product so much that I actually brought a couple samples back, which is a big deal for me. So
what do you got? What do you got?
Let me get it here. I got to get them both. They're behind my screen here.
Got a New York accent. What do you got? Come on, what you got?
This is Top Fox, and so I've got 2
Top
SKUs.
Conveniently named for our episode.
Yep, I've got snacking sunflower seeds. This is the dill pickle flavor, which is tremendous. And then I have this one is really good. They're pumpkin seeds, and this is a Nashville hot honey, and they are fabulous. Both of them very, very good. So the flavor profiles are spot on. There's nice heat with that Nashville hot. The dill pickle flavor is tremendous. So kind of some neat innovation in the packaged nuts category, which depending on your dietary restrictions, it's a growing category, and it's something we always have in our cupboard is some kind of, whether it's almonds or nuts of some sort. So
right.
Encourage you to check them out. There's the link. Good stuff. How about you?
Yep. So big question. You like them better or Daily Crunch?
Ooh. Well, these I have. They're different products because Daily Crunch primarily is almonds, right? And they have the sprouted feature, so that crunch is really unique. Where these, for me, are a little bit more in the flavor intensive as far as that goes. I'd have to have the Daily Crunch dill pickle side by side with these, but again, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds versus almonds. little bit different. So I say I'm going to pass and say I like them both. How's that?
Very diplomatic answer. Indeed. Very diplomatic answer. So mine, as far as stuff we love, I just got these in. I ordered 5 of them. 5. I got a little discount, a little bulk discount. This is the Rising Tide Focus Creamer that has lion's mane and MCT oil. My favorite thing to do, I don't have to even put mud water in. I love mud water too. But at night, I do hot water, oat milk, this, and honey. And it's like a decadent dessert. It's just amazing. A little bit sweet, a little bit of sugar in this, some coconut sugar. And it's funny that I'm talking about taking Focus Creamer at the end of the day, right? Before I go to sleep.
Right.
But for whatever reason, it relaxes me. It's a sweetness. It's a nightcap. And it's just, it's sweet. So it kind of comforts you like a glass of milk, a hot, a warm glass of milk at the end of the day. So I guess I focus really well in my dreams when I have this before I go to sleep. So, and then the other one, which is obvious to say, but I'm going to say it again because I love these brothers. I love the product, is the 7 Teas Wildflower Honey Matcha Tea. It's just awesome. And the, glass, great cap, just the label feels good. The bottle feels good in your hand. I love their product. I love everything that they are about. 7 Teas. So
quality product for sure.
Yep. All right. So we're, there is a big comment that just dropped in here. So we're going to read out the comments, and then we're going to go into our reiteration of our sponsorships, and then we'll go into the prize. So make sure to stay locked in here. But let's look at this comment, Wade, that just came in. It's from LinkedIn user.
That's what I was trying to find out who
Mitch Bernstein. Mitch Bernstein.
Yep.
Let's pull this up. It's going to take up half the screen here, but let's look at this. So from Mitch Bernstein from NYC Press Juice Ventures. Kenny Hausman, I spent much time at Foxtrot on McKinney Avenue in Dallas. My home was 3 blocks away. My assessment of the conceptual challenges are many. Their intent and vision are glorious. Congrats to the team. Yet, we live in times where the consumer is spoiled and self-appointed connoisseurs of daily consumed products. I feel coffee should have been a Verve or Onyx or Merit operated unit within Foxtrot store versus doing coffee themselves. I prefer daily coffee from, and there's another comment I think coming in. So yeah, I mean, again, not to beat a dead horse here, but these are all just opinions and comments on what happened with Foxtrot, where they could have improved. I don't have a horse in the race. I don't have a fox in the race because I've never stepped foot in one. Ironically, I was there a week and a half before they closed, and I just didn't think to go there. I just didn't have time. And so anyway, that's that. So let's go into our next segment. And sorry, I'm going to mention the sponsors here, and then we'll go into our next segment, which is the Friday freebies. So again, this episode has been the ongoing sponsor, I should say, is Range Me and V Driven. You can see Range Me in the bottom right corner there with a QR code. And if you go to rangeme.com/CPG Vibes, for those that are listening, you can use the code CPG Vibes to get a discount on their Range Me Premium and Pro subscriptions, which includes benefits such as direct product submissions to retailers, access to Nielsen IQ category data, and even in-person meetings with buyers at ECRM, including Joe Turnowski. You got to see that guy right when you're there. And so make sure to reach out to them or just go to the landing page, scan the QR code, go to rangeme.com/CPG Vibes. Our other ongoing sponsors, V Driven, luke.abbott@vdriven.com, or just vdriven.com, their website. And they're a leading consulting and brand management firm specializing in strategic guidance and brand representation for emerging and mid-sized CPG brands. They offer really great services, Wade. I mean, they offer soup to nuts, a suite of, whether it's sales, whether it's accounting, whether it's marketing, packaging. If you need help on packaging, they can advise you on that. They have a seasoned team of pros that know CPG like no other. And they also, I think on the back end is really great. The back office stuff, the accounting, the trade spend deductions, super affordable. Like I'm talking, some accounting services can be around $1,000 a month, maybe less, maybe a little more. So make sure to schedule a call, vdriven.com/CPG schedule-a-call. We got to work on that and maybe take out the dashes in there. But it's schedule-a-call, vdriven.com/
And again, you want to mention CPG Vibes so that you get that savings off the first month of services, 25% discount. So
that's it.
Just mention the show. Yep.
All right. Friday freebies.
Friday freebies.
Okay, so a lot of people are just listening. Not a ton of comments on today, but I know there's people that are just listening and sitting back on this Friday. Long week for many, so maybe they're just taking a break and watching. So you know how this goes. We're going to ask a question, and this is a trivia question to win our weekly sponsor, which is 70s in partnership with PFE, Powerful Energy, with Robert Cogan, Cogan. Make sure to reach out to him right here on LinkedIn, or you can also probably email him. But, LinkedIn is really the best pathway to get to him, and he'll help blow you up in Toronto and other areas in Canada. But he really focuses on Toronto, knows all the retailers, works with some great brands, including 70s and others. So make sure to reach out to him as a, because he's a great guy and he's honest and hardworking. So Wade, what is the prize again for 70s? Let's reiterate that because it's a big one.
Yeah, the prize again is a mixed case of glass and a mixed case of cans tea. So 12-pack of each, mixed flavors, and just over an $80, almost $85 value. So that's the prize. So we're gonna keep you hydrated, keep you your flavor sensors fulfilled. And we got a question.
We do not. I was so enthralled.
I have one.
But do you have
one? Have one. I have one. Yeah. I would say Jeremy, when he was on, he mentioned, some of the diversity in his background, his family. He mentioned where his dad was from. Where is Jeremy with 70's dad from?
It's a great question.
So we'll wait as we're waiting for that to come up. There's Luke himself right there with V Driven.
There he is.
Good afternoon, Luke.
You see the video? It was some kind of Sprouts pitch-a-thon.
Yes,
he was on the plane.
I did.
Yep.
Nope. We've got, on my end, I see Namik first. Is that who you see?
Me too. That's what we're aligned there. So Namik.
I was going to go to the photo. The photo finish is the.
He won by a nose.
Yes.
He won by a word. So Namik, and he is our sponsor for the back wall for Ginger Lab. So we have it on this beautiful back wall here, the little ginger shots, and they just came off a fresh round of funding. So congratulations on that, and thank you, Waleed, for that comment. New sponsor backdrop looks great. So Iran is the answer, and Namik, if you can please, and our email, right? You have to. I wonder how he got that. cpgvibes100@gmail.com, and you can reach out. You can email that, and we're going to connect you with Jeremy and Josh, Issacharian brothers, and you can get yourself that beautiful 24-pack of, to me, I'm going to come out and say it, I think the best tea on the market.
Nice.
Bottles. The best tea, quality, the water quality, the taste, just everything is awesome. So to reiterate a couple things before we adjourn for today, we have our ongoing sponsors, V Driven, Range Me. There's a QR code bottom right corner, rangeme.com/CPG Vibes. If you're talking to either of them, mention CPG Vibes or CPG Vibes 25 to get a discount. And then we also have a Slack channel, which Wade will repost there. You can just request to join. Networking, we're going to give away a free sponsorship on our Slack channel. So, and the way it's going to work is you do a 5-star review, you post the 5-star review, a screenshot, and we'll take one of those submissions and you'll be declared the winner. And that's going to be at the end of May. So it's going to be a May incentive for y'all. Also, we have a Venmo account as well. So Wade will post that. We're always looking for donations to keep the show going. We spend a lot of time. I mean, Wade, when we first started, maybe it was like, including the hour a week for the show, it was about an hour and 5 minutes of prep and an hour of the show. Now we're spending, at least 5 to 10 hours a week, if not more. It's like a part-time thing for us now and may become full-time. So we really rely on Venmo, not only sponsorships, but also Venmos to keep the show going, keep the lights on, keep the software going. So it's just Venmo.com. Just search for CPG Vibes, and there it is, a link. And any donation is welcome there. And also, we have sponsorship blocks. If you do 3 or more, you get a discount. You do 5 or more, you get 6 or more, you get a discount. And your first sponsorship is only $350 here on the show instead of $500. So make sure to email cpgvibes100@gmail.com. We're booked up until late August at this point. That's how it's really great. We're super grateful for the community wanting to sponsor our show, get the word out about your product or service. And we're here to ultimately help you grow your brand or product. So there you go.
Right on.
A lot of words. So what are you doing this weekend before we adjourn?
I don't, since I've been gone a couple days, Renee and I are probably gonna just relax and hang out, maybe hear some live music. I think there's a couple local festivals and things that are going on, so we'll probably get into something like that and get back into more YouTube uploads as time permits. I don't know about over the weekend, but I'll definitely be on that next week. And we didn't really talk about hashtag work with Wade, but that's still ongoing. So anybody interested in that, please reach out. Yeah, that's about it. How about you?
Yeah, I think you know part of that answer, but I'm going to share something really, really quickly that we forgot to mention is that now this is obviously you can do 5 stars from here. This is our Apple Podcast channel here. But you see that we have listed descriptions for each episode now. So if you go back, we're almost done with all of them. Before it just said episode 100, no script, just chat. Episode 98, no script, just chat. If you look now, we have what subject matter, what we talked about on each episode. And that was, speaking of laborious and spending hours, I had to listen to each episode, like spot listen, to find out what we were talking about, way back in episode 45, right? So it's all here. If you want to go through all our episodes and sift through it, you can tell what we were talking about just by looking at the title. So that's a cool little thing we added for you guys. As far as this weekend, I have a golf tournament tomorrow. So I actually prepped for it earlier this week and did some practice. It's at the Wilson Harding course up in Griffith Park, which is, to me, the best course in Los Angeles. So that'll be a lot of fun. And then Sunday, just spending time with family, just the usual. So
nice.
There you go.
Nice. We had a little question about the answer there, and I answered in the chat. But yeah, we basically, Emily, we just take the first correct answer, which was Namik. That's why, we had several people with the correct answer. We just take whoever gets it first. So that's you did fine as far as answering it in the chat. That's how you want to try and win, right?
That's how you win. You got to have fast reflexes and fast fingers. So next week, which is the May 3rd show, we're going to have Grassroots Marketing, a demo service company that's now national, David Heiser and Bridget Aragon. They're going to be sponsoring the episode with a $400 value prize. $400. That's more than some people have in their bank account. So make sure to, I'm just kidding. Make sure to tune into that episode. And then the week after, mark your calendar, May 10th, is the Master Series Volume 2. And so far, we have confirmed there's going to be a couple more. We have Jake Carls, Mike Fata, right, the founder of Manitoba Harvest, Kari Pedriana, so she's the founder of Green Spoon, co-founder, and Dayton Miller of BFG, Boulder Food Group, that just raised a big second fund. So, and we're going to have one more. So that's going to be a great episode. Our last one was awesome. So it's the Master Series Volume 2 on May 10th. Mark your calendars. We'll tell you more about that. All right. Well, Wade, love you, buddy. Looks like you're staying warm out there. And yeah.
That's the plan. That's the plan.
That's the plan.
It's been fun. We'll see you next week.
Yep. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend.